Hi, good morning.
I'm here talking to you at your home, and it's a pleasure for me to be here.
Well, it's a pleasure for you to consider coming to at least talk to me about something. Otherwise, I wouldn't have come to you. I'm just laid back. I don't do that. But since you've come, I will answer any questions that you might have for me. I'll try to answer them anyway. You know?
Well, what I thought we would address is the Armstrong name, first of all. I've grown up hearing this Armstrong family name for a long time. Tell me something about the Armstrong family in terms of, I think there was a great athlete in the family that was some recognition for Bermuda.
Yes, there was. Well, we had a few uncles, actually, that were boxers.
Oh.
Kid Armstrong was my brother. He came late. But before him, I think his inspiration came from his uncles.
Love it.
They were good boxers, good fighters. And Kid was the lightweight champion of Bermuda. Now, during his tenure, what got me inspired was he used to train hard, never lifted weights. He always free-handed stuff, and I admired him.
Skipping, a lot of skipping.
Skipping, little springs,
Okay.
the sort of thing.
Charles Atlas stuff.
Yes, and he was dedicated in whatever he did. He was the best. Seemed like it brought the best out of him, But
I'm aware that there was a stadium near where I live that featured these fights. Where's this facility that
Well,
probably doesn't even exist today?
No, it doesn't exist today. It was I think it was a big wooden shed, a big thing right there where the car garage is right now, across from Cheesy Ray's, on the opposite side of where the gas station is.
Yes.
Actually,
Yes.
there was a big stadium there, and they had a tin roof on it, the old Bermuda days, and every weekend they had boxing there, big fights. Polly Smith.
Super Limo fight?
He was the heavyweight.
He was the heavyweight.
Polly Smith was the heavyweight champion of Bermuda.
Wow.
As a matter of fact, he went away and fought the heavyweight champion of the States, United States. I think it was I can't remember that guy's name.
So boxing, if we think about it, boxing's had a great history in Bermuda. Before Clarence Hill, there was some.
Oh
some
yeah,
great
oh
boxers.
yeah, long before Clarence.
Yeah.
But you had him. You had a lot of different fighters. Fred Smith, big guys.
Yeah.
You had I'm trying to think of some of the other names.
But you have Kid Armstrong from your family boxing there, and you're inspired.
Oh yeah.
And he's your brother.
He's
So he fought with you?
Well-
Your brothers fight.
Well, we never. Yeah, I used to train with him.
Okay.
But he never really hit me. He caught me a couple times, but I used to run. I was more
That's how you start running.
like running away from his fights. Yes. But he would tell me to hit him, so I would jab him and do whatever. And he tried to get me into the fight, but I told him, no, that's not for me. I would train with him and run with him and stuff like that every so often, but I wasn't really a runner. I wasn't an athlete.
Well, let's talk about school. So in school, you're not running any races? I mean, I'm trying to figure when you get into this running seriously.
My running seriously, at school, all I did was the little
Which
Patton House,
which school, Patton
Crawford
House?
House,
Which school you're at?
little races like that.
Were you in school?
I was in school at Central School.
Central School. So you're running sports day races, but not really feeling like this is the sport for you yet.
No, definitely. That was not really in my vocabulary. I never thought of running and stuff, but I kind of idolized my brother because he was the boxer.
But Kid ran May 24th as well.
Yes, he would run. That was more part of his training, as far as he was concerned.
Yes.
Kid trained in boots.
Wow.
He would even try to run 24th of May up from St. George's up in boots. He'd have these heavy boots on. That was his training. And a couple times he was like third place, second place, and guys would say, you could win this race. And he'd fool around. He was a real jokester, prankster, like he still up till today, still cracking jokes and making people laugh. That was his demeanor. He enjoyed that, I guess it runs through the family because we do a lot of that cracking jokes, stuff too. But I started running in, actually, it's funny. I came back, we went to the States to live for a period of time.
Yes, I was aware you were in the U.S.
And
New
then
Jersey,
when I
I believe.
came back to Bermuda in 76, it was, I said, you know what, I got to get some exercise in. I was not a big guy, a small still, and I started running then. I would go out for like a 3-mile run or 4-mile run, 5 mile, and I kept stretching it.
Yes.
And it's so funny. One day, because I had built my house already. I had already built my house.
I'm going to ask you this question as just a little sidestep.
Mm-hmm.
I believe you're one of the youngest to ever build a home.
I think I was one of the youngest. It's youngest in Bermuda. Youngest
That's an accomplishment.
people.
And what age were you?
I was 19, just going 19. I had gotten married at 19. At the same time, I was working, and I had bought a piece of property from Rigo, Johnny Rigo. And I was so excited that I had purchased this piece of property, and I started to build on it.
19 years old.
19 years old. This had to be in 62, in the 60s. So 64, I've completed the house, 2 years. And we moved in it for a period, and we rented it for a period. But we left and went overseas after that, and when we came back, I started just running for an exercise. So I would take little runs. And then when we moved back into the house, after we were back, I would run from home, which was Hermitage Road.
Yes.
I would come out, hit the Cable and Wireless Hill,
Okay.
go all the way up, come down Harrington Sound, turn right on Flats Hill, turn right on Harrington Sound, and go all the way around the Sound.
Around the sun.
And come back up the hill and back home. And I used to do that.
And there's no races back then, so
there was races.
I was thinking it was just May 24th. It wasn't.
It was just May 24th races.
Right.
That's correct.
Yeah. So you're doing this training, and are you thinking, I'm going to get ready for May 24th?
No,
still
never even
not
thought about May
committed to that.
24th. What happened to me was Tread Tucker. Remember he had Groove Tube?
Yes.
Tread Tucker and his wife used to go to they had a store, so they used to go to the base, the airport, pick up their stuff for the store, and drive back. And he used to see me numerous times running, going down Wilkinson Avenue. And he'd say, one day he said to me, "Hey Ed, how far were you running from?" I said, "I'm running from home." "You mean all the way from Hermitage Road?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "And you run all the way around and back home?" I said, "Yeah, I don't stop." He says, "You should run on 24th of May."
Look at that.
I said, 24th of May, man, I'd never do that run. I can't do that. He said, "Man, you could do it. Do you know how long that race is? That's almost 12 miles. I said, "No, I don't think so." And 1 year after that, I said, "You know what? I'm going to try this." And I did. I went up, had my son take me up on his bike, and I started from the supermarket up there, right past Somerset Cricket Club, it's the supermarket.
Yes.
I started from there, and I ran all the way down. And my son said when I got down by Aaron Bay, "Dad, you sure you don't want to get on the bike?" I said, no, I'm gonna keep doing it because I'm determined, you know.
Sure.
I'm gonna keep doing it. So I kept running. When I got there by Inverary.
Yes, ooh, the big hill.
But you know what? Everybody was talking about this hill.
The big hill, yes.
Before that, by Waits, Burnt House Hill. And I said, geez, this is stuck in my mind now coming down. I said, you know, Burnt House Hill's nothing. It's not like I thought it would be. You know, everybody's saying it's a crucious hill. It's this. I said, I'd come over to Burnt House Hill and I felt pretty good.
Yes.
That was because it was my first time. First time you don't notice it.
You didn't know anything, sure.
But the second time coming down, after I did sign up after that,
Yes.
I made it all the way in,
Yes.
as a matter of fact. And then we came into the stadium.
You had a taste.
Yes, the stadium wasn't there then.
Okay, yes. So
It was
you
just
got
the field.
Up to the stadium.
So we used to finish on the field. So the second year when I really ran it, I came down. I was up there by the store again, running back at the store, sitting down by myself, because I've always been a loner,
Sure.
run by myself. I never run with anybody until my children started. You know, I started running with them. We run together. And I brought Ed down first year, but we would, I was sitting back at the store. Sherlock.
Oh, the great one.
Ed Sherlock came up. He was sitting just not far from me. He said, "Hey, Armstrong, what's happening?" I said, "Hey, Mr. Sherlock, how are you?" "I'm good." He said, why are you sitting around here?" I said, "Man, look, I'm nervous, man. I don't know what to do, man. I never run this race like this before." He says, "Look, everybody that starts in this race is nervous." I said, "You're kidding me." He says, "I'm telling you." He says, "I'm nervous every time I run." I
He's
said,
the
"You should."
champion.
And it kind of made me,
That's
gave a
beautiful.
little more inspiration, right? So I said, oh, man.
And that's your second year.
That was my second year. Well,
yeah.
the first year
First year
was
unofficial.
nobody there. It was just
Sure.
me on the road,
Yes.
just a person training.
Yes.
This was my first
That's
year
your first
running.
official run.
I came down, I felt pretty good, because I said to myself, I made it, so I made it once.
Yes.
I should be able to make it a second time. I came down, when I got there by Inverary, my feet started burning me, because I had no real Trek shoes.
Sure.
I don't even know if they had Trek shoes
Sure.
out around there.
That's early days.
Around that time, this was right, it had to be the 70s.
70s, yeah.
Had to be 70,
Nike is just
Yeah.
coming into its development.
yeah, it had to be 70
So it's
something.
early days in sports development.
That was my first year. I don't even know if they took records. They made records of those years, you know, on the, like showing you what you, today I couldn't pull it up. But I can't, my feet were burning me. I said, oh man, this one shoe. But like I said, I don't let stuff deter me. I said, you know what, I'm gonna keep going. I kept going, I wouldn't stop. That burn, I came right into the stadium. And when I stopped, I couldn't wait to take
Your
those
shoes
shoes off.
off.
When I took that shoe off, my foot was full of blood. It had a blister must have developed under it from me. Because you know what? I had plastic bottom shoes. I didn't have a
Heat and
rubber.
plastic rubbing together.
Yeah,
friction.
plastic in my feet, you know.
Oh.
That wasn't really a Trek shoe. It was a cheap little thing I probably bought
An
from
experience
Conrad's.
that would guide you for future years.
Yes, yeah. And after that, I bought a decent pair of shoes, and I've been coming down, you know, ever since. I never really stopped until Terence.
You trained.
Terence came
appropriately.
in.
So I'm aware, because Ed and I talk often,
Yes.
that you set the family record. So the bar was set high by you. And Ed says, I gotta beat my dad's time. I gotta beat my dad's time. My dad has this fantastic time.
Yeah.
So you inspired the family.
Yes, sort of, I think. Because Terence never really liked running. He ran like primary and
Yes.
high school.
Track star.
He was doing good.
And he threw the javelin,
Yeah.
I think I like to
And
remind
he
you.
didn't really, well, I think the race that really inspired him too was when he and Jay ran together. Coming out of, we have pictures of that.
Yes.
He and Jay left Prospect. It was nothing but grass. It was no real
He
stadium.
And Jay have been buddies forever.
Yeah, and Arnold Mandels was the person in charge of the race. They left, went out there, and they went, hit the main road, middle road,
Yes.
and went on. I must have come up through Orange Valley somewhere or the other. And finally, I just went out to the gate and looked down by Devonshire Wreck. I said, it's taking a while. I wonder if they're going to come. When they got there, when I could see two heads coming up there, almost neck and neck, right? I said, I wonder if that's him. And then it was him. And I said, oh man, I said, look, just take your time till you get to the slope coming down by the traffic light. I said, take your time, and then maybe you'll get it. And I guess I didn't have to tell him, because he had it in his mind what he was going to do. And the minute he got round, and before he came into the entrance, he was kicking, you know. And he made that little kick and just about beat him. That's where he and Jay became.
But they became friends so close that they also went to school in the United States together.
Yes, yeah. What happened? Did you ever hear the story about how
No,
Jay got in?
Please tell us.
Okay, Terence had gone up to play soccer
This is in New Jersey.
in New Jersey because he wanted to get a bike. I said, you're not getting a bike. I said, you're not going away to school. What's the sense of having a bike for 3 or 6 months and then leaving it here to go to school? Oh, well, I said, no, you won't be getting a bike. All his mates up, Whitney had bikes, brand new, I forget the name of those bikes, like a Cyrus type thing. And I said, no, those bikes are out.
was a
So
B50.
we ended up taking him over to Camden High School.
Yes.
And he got in, and they had just discontinued soccer. He wanted to play soccer. He left here as a champion,
Yes.
junior champion of Bermuda, running, and he was good at it. He didn't train. That was just
Wanted
his
to play
ability.
soccer.
And I said, look, go out and you might do something out there in running. Oh, no, Dad. He didn't tell me this, but he had his mind made up to play soccer. When he got there, the soccer had been just discontinued. Well, the cross country was coming up. He must have figured, well, I'm in school and I've got to be part of the thing.
Sure.
They put him in. They had never won anything. That school never won a race or anything. Terence took off in the race. I wasn't there because I'm here in Bermuda.
Yes.
This is the dean of students telling me what's happening now. He says, they're watching the race, And here, all of a sudden, coming through the trees is this gold and
Purple?
and gold
That's right. I've seen
outfit.
I've seen
And
them
I'm
at
thinking, it's
relays.
one of the kids playing a prank on the school. And I'm getting ready to jump out there and tell him, get off of this field, get off it. When I look, it was Terence. He said, we couldn't believe it. Right after that, they hired a coach for the school.
Look at that.
Because he beat the Catholic school.
Do you remember the coach's name? That's not Brady.
No, it wasn't Brady.
Okay,
Brady was at the college.
Okay.
He hired.
I knew there was a Brady involved.
Yeah, he hired this guy. We got to know him afterwards. Pretty good. Calvin Gunning.
Okay.
Calvin Gunning was the guy. So Terence ran, and to me, I don't know anything about running. I'm thinking, Terence is a distance runner. He's got the stamina.
Yeah.
He's got the wind and the will. And I'm saying, boy, he's gonna do some things. I don't know a thing about U.S. running either.
Yes.
So anyhow, we got out there, and I left him. I come back home to do what I'm gonna do, my work and stuff. He's got a race coming up in Gloucester, New Jersey. So I shoot back out there, because I don't miss his races, you know. I shoot back out there to watch him. So when I look, it's a track. We never had a track here. So the coach is there. I said, oh, where's Terence? Oh, he's inside doing his little warm-up and concentrating, whatever. I said, oh, okay. So I said, well, where's the race? He said, it's around here. Around you see the track? You're sitting on the bleachers. I said, Terence is not a track runner. He says, no, Mr. Armstrong. I said, Terence's best races is his distance.
You got Bermuda and challenging them.
Yeah, I'm telling him. I don't know a thing about it. He's saying, Mr. Armstrong, the colleges don't want distance runners. They want track runners. In order for him to get a scholarship, he's going to have to do track. So he's got to do speed work. I said, Terence is not fast. I've never seen him run fast. They came out. I sat there, and I'm like getting a little disillusioned. I'm saying, you know what? Not pushing my son to do stuff that he's not.
Sure.
He came out, Stephen, got in the race. The race started. He ran off with a bunch of guys. He sat there. And the last lap, Terence picked up and took the race. I said, I could not believe. I didn't know he had that speed.
I love it.
The
coach is saying what he
The coach knew what he had.
We know your son a little bit more than you do.
Yeah, and he only knew Terence for less than a year, you know. But I said, okay, well, if that's what he's doing, I got a little excited.
From that program,
yes,
you mentioned Jay.
Well, Terence only was there the first year.
Yes.
He had broken all the records in New Jersey. He had won all the races that, you know, other schools were winning, and they had given him a scholarship. He had already got the scholarship for that in a year, less than a year. So he said, oh, Mr. Armstrong, we want Terence to, I think he said red shirt or something. Can we keep him back another year? Because he was due to finish. That was his last year to finish anyway. We want to keep him back another year so we could win another championship. And I said, no, because I'm thinking, if Terence gets injured, that scholarship is gone.
Yes.
This is my way. I'm thinking. He says, we need to keep him. Can we keep him? And I said, look, I tell you what. Terence has made has made the scholarship. Let him go. I can give you somebody else just as good as him that can do the same job. He said, you can? I said, yes. I got another guy in Bermuda that can do the same thing. Well, you think he's willing to come up? I said, yes, I can get him. I can go and talk. I came down, didn't know Jay and his family that well. Right up Somerset, sat down and talked with them. They were kind of excited.
Yes.
Oh, you're going to do this? I said, yes, it's not going to cost him anything. He's going to go in this high school, and he's going to win the scholarship. Lo and behold, they put Jay in. I went up, helped him get established in a new little home up there where he needed to be. And he walked into that school, and he took right over from Terence.
The rest is history, as they say. Well, it's interesting. I talked to Jay during that period when he was about to leave, and he told me he really wanted to be one of the best runners in the world. And he said, Steve, I was sleeping in a gutter to be successful. I'm leaving Bermuda. I think Jay was 16 at the time.
Is that right?
Yeah, So the mindset. And so you're telling me information today, tying in this story with your success, your kids. Terence is going on to be setting records for national records for Bermuda.
Yeah.
He has established himself as one of our greatest all time in May 24th. He now has two sons who are making their mark for Bermuda. So I'm looking at this legacy that you've laid out. We start with you. Well, Kid Armstrong, yourself, Ed comes along, challenges your record. Terence comes along, sets the national record for the country.
Yeah.
Jay Dunaway is also in that package, and now Nathan Armstrong.
Healthy people and healthy communities.
Keeping active reduces the risks for diabetes, heart disease, arthritis, and stroke. These conditions can limit your lifestyle, but they are preventable. Exercise and a healthy diet are good for all ages, so make them a part of your daily life. Walk more often. Take the stairs instead of the elevator. Leave the car at home sometimes. You'll be amazed how easy it is to be more active. Get on the move to a healthier you. This is a message from the Department of Health.
So reflecting now, your son, Ed Jr.,
Yes.
tells me you ran hour 27, is that correct?
126.
126,
something.
I must get it right.
Yeah.
So every time I'm seeing him, he's telling me that he must get this time. It was important for him to get the family record.
Yeah.
So tell us about that race when you were in the 126.
I think I trained hard for that race. Well, like say hard. Most of my training was like 3 days a week. I would go, and my only training was going around the sun back to Hermitage Road. Come down Fletchill, down.
What time of day? What time of day would you do your
I
training?
would go in the heat of the night, of the sun. I couldn't run. I like to run to challenge
I love it.
my ability. So I would, and guess what? I would run in a sweatsuit. I wouldn't have on like pair of shorts and a short sleeve shirt and all that thin stuff. I put on this sweat pants and sweat top, and I would run. And the sun would be beaming out. I'd come home from work. I was working in insurance then. So I'd finish my work around 11 o'clock, 11:30, did my cash in and all that, and I'd go straight home, dash home, put on my tracksuit, my that flannel, that suit I ran in,
Do your training
and
in
hit
heat
the
of
road
day.
because I had to get back to work
Right, sure.
before it was like my lunchtime I was doing it. So 12 o'clock, around 12:30, I'm coming up Hurricane Sound. I'm coming up North Shore Road, to come back home.
Yes.
And it was 3 days a week. That
So
was
nowadays we call that acclimating to the heat. You did all the preparation.
Yeah.
Ed's focus is to chase after your times. I still think he has more potential than he realized because he would run with the leading lady just to help them down and just cruise in.
Yeah.
We go to Terence, who we discussed with regard to his connection with Jay. He wins this race 3 times.
Yes.
He becomes the iconic figure, the long socks. He's
Yes,
the first
yes.
guy to run in long socks. The general public is going, what is this guy doing?
Right.
Which leads us now into Terence's sons, who you go up and visit from time to time. Tell us about your leaving Bermuda to watch your grandsons perform, because you've watched your sons make their marks.
Yes,
How is
yes.
it now with your grandsons?
Well, it's almost a replica of watching my son run, watching the little boys. They're so into it. Anything they take up in sports, they seem like they just, they're anxious to do it. You know what I mean? So they get on the soccer field and they're like, I remember the youngest one. They used to put him in as a left wing or right wing.
Okay.
No, I think they put him in right wing.
He must be fast then.
Very fast. He's fast. He didn't know it. He didn't know what he was doing. He's just about 9, 10 years old. They'd give him the ball. He would take the ball up on the wing real fast. You know how you get him? He said, make a spurt. He'd take the ball up on the wing, move in the center, in the goal.
Now this is Andrew.
This is Andrew.
This is Andrew, yes.
And everybody would laugh, saying, hey, so the coach had to call him aside. You got other players here. You got to pass the ball. He'd come up the field, pass the ball. The guys would go up the field and lose it. He must have said, these guys are not playing where I want to play. He'd come, they put him in the back. They take him off the wing, put him down the defense. He would get the ball in defense, the same thing. Go up on the wing and all of it.
But the reason why I asked whether it was Andrew, because Nathan, although he's making a name for himself now as a runner, also soccer, football background.
Yeah, Nathan and Andrew both played together. And Nathan's a bit older, but he and Andrew, they trained together and played together. They were just in different little groups because of age.
Yes.
But they both were good. Nathan was a good defender because he was quick in the defense. If some of the guys got the ball and they broke away, Nathan would pull them back. He'd go back, run and, and block them, stop them. So he was very good.
But it's fascinating. They're living in New Jersey
Yeah.
and playing football,
Playing
soccer,
football.
what we play here.
Yeah. and
That is probably the catalyst for them becoming the better runners.
Yeah.
Now, in Nathan's case, he's at Rider University.
Yes.
What are the chances of that? He goes to the same
Well,
university on scholarship as Terence.
That is Terence went. That's true. That's amazing. No one, I think when it was first asked him if he wanted to go to Rider, he said yes. And his dad said, well, you may not want to go there because I went there. So they checked around different places looking for him to go. And it sort of just came back in a circle where that was the college that saw his track record
Yes.
from playing soccer and in the high school, and they wanted him.
Unbelievable.
Then that's what happened. And then he was running. When he started running for the high school, he just stopped playing soccer. It was something because he didn't even know what he was doing.
Interesting.
He was winning. His first race, he came second.
And you would go up and see some of his races,
Oh,
yes?
yes. I wouldn't miss him. I would be there.
Make it sound like he's going up Somerset. I mean,
Yeah.
New Jersey's
I
a
would
far.
fly. I was on a plane. People were saying to me, Armstrong, you must earn shares in the airline, don't you? I say, yeah, I earn a couple. I did.
Yeah.
People say
Very
things.
supportive. I mean, you've told
Yeah.
me
Oh,
in
yeah.
the past that you would go to Terrence's races. You guys leave home at 5 in the morning, go watch him run at Central Park.
Yeah.
You would run some races.
Yes.
When you were overseas as well.
Oh, yes. Yeah, Terence would always pencil me in a race. If it was a weekend and I was up and he knew I was coming up, he'd pencil me in.
And then
I'd
your
get
wife
this-
supporting you.
Yeah.
Always being there.
Yes.
I mean, one thing I said about your family, it's
Yeah.
that family connection. Everybody's there for each other.
Yeah, we ran a race called Pumpton Race. The Pumpton, was it 10K or something like that? And it was my first time running it. And Terence ran.
What time of year would this be? In the fall?
This would be Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving. Okay.
Cold.
Cold.
The snow. I used to sit in the car. Terence would get out of the car, and he's out there warming up. He calls it, or warming down, whatever it was. I've never done that.
You sit in the car and warm up.
I'd sit in the car. Even if I was anywhere, I'm not going to run up and down the street and waste my energy. And then I get on the race, and I'm tired. So this is my thinking. I'm going to sit here and wait till the race starts, and I'm ready. So and then I'll slowly pick up.
So you get the heat on in the car?
The heater was on the car. I'd say, Terence, you go ahead. When I see everybody moving towards the start line,
then you
I get out of the car,
I love it.
turn it off, and I'll get there. And because it's cold. I mean, it gets cold Thanksgiving.
yeah. New Jersey's-
Snowing.
New
Sometimes it's
Jersey's
snowing.
cold.
It's coming.
So
And
all
I-
of you ran that particular race?
All of us ran that race.
So
that
it's
Pumpkin
Terence,
race.
yourself,
and the two boys.
and the two boys.
Yeah. I came
And
first.
your
in
wife
my
is
age
on the
group.
start line. The wives on
Both
the
wives.
Both
sitting there
wives.
watching us. Yeah.
Terence's wife, your wife, on the sideline,
Yeah.
cheerleaders.
They beat me in. The Terence and the two boys.
Yeah.
But I was first in my age group.
Well done.
And
Well
then
done.
Terence was first in his age
age
group.
group, yes.
Because he was a runner anyway.
Yes.
And then the two boys came in, one right after the other. I said, well, look at that. So they lined us all up. Said, the Armstrong family, though. And they look for me every year. I don't think I've run since.
You've made a name
I've never
for
been able to
yourself
get
there,
back
yeah.
out for that race.
But
But
the Armstrong name will go on. It's a
yeah, they keep
legacy, as
asking,
they
where's
say.
your dad? Where's your dad? And, but I don't know, maybe when...
I'm fascinated in this interview as we sort of reflect is the standard that you've set. It also doesn't seem to have been pressure.
Yeah.
I seem to get the impression that this has been a very fun type activity.
Yeah.
Everyone enjoys it.
Sure.
And not a demanding parent or grandparent. You must do this.
Yes, yeah, no, never was like that. And even with the boys, with Terence, he gives them the opportunity. It's up to you. You feel you want to do this. How do you think it? And his relationship with his children are fantastic. I always give him a little heads up on that. I said, your mom and I are very impressed with the way you're bringing the boys along. I said you're both dedicated. The time they spend with those boys, taking them to meets. I mean, driving miles every night to train and race. I mean, they drive, I think even right now, they drive from home after they get off from work all the way up to New York, which is over an hour every night, to the training or the track place when they run,
Soccer and
So it's amazing. But they all enjoy it.
That's the key.
They love it.
I think that's the quote we'll take from this as we wrap this up, that the Armstrongs, very supportive family, very talented, no doubt, but you guys enjoy it. And you've got the support system, as you mentioned, the wives, your wife and Terence's wife, Ed's wife.
Yes.
Everybody together supports each other, and that is what we're seeing in the final product. When we see the success stories, folks have to know what goes on behind the curtains.
Yeah, that's true. That's good.
yeah, so-
You know, I always said family is so important. And when you do get family, you need to bind. You don't separate. You keep close. So the closeness comes with following what they do, what
Well,
they enjoy
I
doing.
mentioned Ed's wife, Wanda, and you sometimes being in races together.
Yes.
I've seen
Even
you
my
know,
daughter-in-laws, yeah.
So that connection is just so
Sure.
fascinating. I've seen
Yeah.
you guys in the 10K.
10K, we come
I'm
up
sure
together.
Wanda, and there you are.
Yeah,
Or she'll ask me, you know,
Yeah.
where's Ed? Where's he? So
Yeah. We've
much
been-
appreciated today. This has been a wonderful opportunity to come into your home. We could talk for hours.
Oh yes, yeah. There's so much I have to say, but I'll never get it all out.
Yeah, this is wonderful. Thanks
One
again.
day you'll- sure.
How many May 24th before we go? How many May 24th? Do you even know? So many.
It's over. It's over 30.
Over 30.
It's over 30 years of doing that.
And what about that day? I didn't talk about that day. The fans. Give me an idea of the appreciation for May 24th day. Where's your popular area that the fans are cheering you?
I think all along, but basically when I get to Crow Lane,
Crowley.
the minute I come around that band from the roundabout, they close in on me, Armstrong. I just, I put my hand up. I notice some of them, I can pick them out, but others I can't. And you know what? I was looking at a picture. I think I was showing Al yesterday that I never really realized. I was running when the bus terminal was on East Broadway.
Oh, wow. What a memory.
The train station, then the
What
bus
a
station, all that.
memory.
I could look up the bank and see people up on the height, the upper level,
What a
where
memory.
they divided the road at. That is amazing. But I've never kept track of the years, It was just something.
You were just having fun.
Every year, just having fun. And it is fun. It's
Well, I
fun.
learned a few things. I learned about your exploits at age 19, building your first home. I knew about the family connections, but I learned a few additions today, and I think you're quite an inspiration to your family and, of course, to the island in itself. So we want to thank you today for allowing us to come into your home and reflect on your running career as opposed to just May 24th.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. It's a pleasure to have someone that thinks I'm worthy of giving that much input. But,
It's beautiful.
And I still go out I go at least twice a week now. My wife's cut me back. I was running 3 times a week. She says, no, you're getting old now. So I'm going to take you.
She's the coach.
She's the coach. So I have to listen to my coach.
So I didn't ask you about your diet and so forth. You still look so fit. What sort of diet does Ed Armstrong?
I don't particularly have a diet. I eat everything. I drink anything. I shouldn't. Well, you're not my doctor, so I can say that. I told my doctor that one time. He said, "Oh, you got to stop sprinkling that salt. That's a killer." I said, "But doc, I'm running. I sweat all that salt." He said, "No, sprinkling is not the same." And I've been off of salt ever since. That's the only diet I have. I don't sprinkle anymore.
Wow.
I got nervous when he told me that. Dr. Brown
And what
told
sort
me
of
that.
sleep would you go prior to the race? You go to bed at a reasonable hour before races?
I have a way of the way I get ready for that race the next day. I don't eat any fruit. I don't eat cherries, loquats, because I love them, but I wouldn't touch them because you have to stop to use the bathroom
sure.
when you're eating something. So the only thing I do the night before, I go to bed very early anyway, but the night before I get in my bed around 6:30, 7 o'clock, I'll put my feet up and lay back and watch television.
Yes.
And then I'd say, well, you know what, I better get off, lay off and go to sleep. But before I go to bed, the only thing I'll eat is Quaker oats.
Quaker Oats.
I make my Quaker oats, not homemade stuff, not the stuff from the box, the old-fashioned Quaker oats. You put it in the pot and you put the water and you mix it up. And that's what I would eat at night. That would be my supper. Nothing else.
Nothing else.
Get up that morning, don't eat anything. I may drink a little water. Get up to Somerset, the race starts.
Now
and
here's
go on.
a question. Getting up to Somerset, how are you traveling there? One year I had asked Ed Jr., You want to go on the ferry? No, I don't go on the boat before the race.
Yeah.
That's going to have my body up and down.
Oh no, I never think of that. Someone usually takes me.
Takes you,
My
sure,
wife
yeah,
used to drive me up,
Yeah.
and then she'd come drive
Yeah, I
back
think
down
Wanda takes it.
because she would set up for her little spot to watch me as I come through on Cedar Avenue.
Fascinated by the rituals and what folks
Yeah.
believe in. And I try to get Ed to get on the ferry with me. He told me,
Yeah.
no ferry ride.
never,
No boat.
never did that. But one thing I did, and I don't know if it's everybody says it's not a good thing to do, was I never touched water. I never drank.
During the race?
Never.
See, you came from that era when the
Came
water
from-
wasn't on the
Yeah.
course.
And I always said to myself, sometimes it's mental. You talk to yourself.
Sure.
You say, when I'm training, going around that sun, it's hot, it's sweating. You know, you go around the sun, you don't got a bottle of water. You just do it. You come up that hill, you're finished. Then you go in the house, you may get a little something to drink. But I never
So you have it
touched
in your
water.
fueling up
Yeah,
prior to that. Your body has water in the cells.
yeah.
That you're okay for the day.
I'm okay for the day. One year, I trained so good for that race. I was coming down. As a matter of fact, I think, I wasn't with Ed that year. I don't think I brought him down. It might have been a year.
I like that term, brought him down. That's a
Yeah,
very,
I brought him down his first
very
year.
popular
Yeah.
term used
Yeah.
in Bermuda.
He said,
Who
"Dad, you
brought you
wanna-"
down for your first race? That's
Yeah.
the term that we would use.
That's right. And I said, yeah, I'll come down with you. So I just came down. We came down together that one year. And after that, he was
Give him a
gone.
taste.
But I came down when I got by Inverary that year. I never forget, I was in good shape. I could have just kept going. I said, I'm good. I'm in good shape. I took some water. I said, let me try this. Everybody takes a little drink of water and coming down, a little stop. And I stopped at Inverary there and took a drink of water. And from that point on, I started to cramp up.
Sure.
I didn't know.
Your
'cause
body was unaccustomed to that. It was
Okay.
You're trying something.
I really felt,
Well, it's the same thing if people giving oranges and stuff on the course, jelly beans. If your body's not used to that,
Yes,
that
yeah.
is not the time to try something. And unfortunately, you learned that day.
and that's the way I've always run. No water.
No water.
But once I get in, I'm running to that water. I'm looking for something to drink.
Sure, sure.
But that's always been me. But, yeah,
Now,
stupid,
Terence is from the
man.
new era because I seen him drink and
Yeah,
throw it over his
Terence,
head.
and I
he's-
could never get. I
he's-
said, do you swallow the water while you're running?
Yeah,
I
I've
asked
seen
her
him press it.
silly
Sure,
questions,
sure.
because I don't know. But he's an athlete, so
Yeah, and
he
that's
knows.
how he's been
Yeah.
growing.
And I put down the socks to the fact that because he was on track,
Yeah.
those long socks,
Yeah.
he was not running distance.
They were new to the world.
Yeah.
It was a compression sock, and everybody was so fascinated by it.
Yeah.
But it was something that he had been exposed to outside Bermuda.
Yes.
So it hadn't even arrived here yet. No one knew they'd come. The study had come from within the hospitals when they were trying to increase circulation with the
Yeah.
patients, and then they had taken that and designed it for sports.
Well, that was on his second race.
Yes.
Because his first race he cramped up,
They cramped up.
When he was going down, he cramped up right there before Tongate Electric. You
Okay,
going down
yes,
that hill?
Yes.
He was that close, and and
Kevin.
bless his soul, not Kevin. No, Jay was
Oh,
behind
Jay
him.
was behind him. Yeah.
Yeah, Kevin.
I
Jay
know
had
the-
dropped
the,
Kevin.
The great races.
Yeah,
Kevin,
that was the
Jay
two of
and
them
Kevin,
coming up by the the American
Consulate.
consulate's
Yes,
place.
yes.
And then Terence was saying, I better see if I could do something
That was
now.
a
And he made his
fantastic one,
move. But he cramped up by making his move that fast, trying to
Yes,
speed,
yes.
right there by Tongate Electric.
Electric,
And
okay.
he just, because, what's the guy that just passed? I forget his name. The announcer,
Mike Sharp.
Mike Sharp.
Yeah.
He said to me, I thought he must have been stopping to say something to someone.
Wow.
I said, no, he got cramped and he stopped. But he forced himself in, got in and did what he had to do, But that was, it
Well,
was
the
something.
Armstrong stories, we can sit and chat forever. And I just want to thank you today for allowing us the opportunity to come to your home and provide this coverage, this interview. Thank you very much.
And I appreciate your stopping by to have this inventory with me. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Thank you.